Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about a topic that has been going on in news for past 1 week is regarding the issue about suspension of parliamentarians, especially with reference to the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha also. So let us try to understand that what are the issues on the ground or the grounds on which the parliamentarians can be suspended from the parliament session, and also what are the powers given to the chairman of Rajya Sabha or speaker of the Lok Sabha in this regard, and we'll also try to understand generally what are the issues and what can be done to tackle the particular problem. So let us start with understanding the context in which we are discussing this particular topic today. So last week actually 12 opposition member of parliaments from the Rajya Sabha had been suspended for the rest of the winter season. As we know, the winter season has just started last week. The reason behind that was in the last session, that was the monsoon session of parliament, they have disrupted the Rajya Sabha proceeding, and on the ground of which they were suspended by the chairman. Now, if you look at the different parties from which different MPs have been suspended, so total 6 MPs from the Congress party have been suspended, 2 MPs from the Trinamool Congress and Shiv Sena has been suspended, 2 MPs from the Communist Party of India and 2 MPs of CPIM has been suspended from the monsoon session. So let us try to understand at what were the reasons behind their suspension. So as per the reason given by the Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Sri Prahlad Joshi, he has said that these members of parliament were actually involved in unprecedented acts of misconduct. They also were indulged in the act which was which is kind of contempt the parliament, their unruly and violent behavior, and they were intensely trying to attack the security personnel who were involved or who are there in the premises of parliament on the last day of the monsoon session. And on the basis of this particular fact or this particular reasons, they were suspended from the parliament. Now coming to the topic that what are the background on the basis of which this decision has been made. So actually if you look at the last session of parliament, there was a heated debate between opposition parties and the ruling parties MPs on 2 major issues. The one was the Pegasus hacking or alleged Pegasus hacking, and the second issue was concerning the farm laws which has been repealed very recently. The opposition parties were saying that on the Pegasus hacking and the farm law issues, government is not trying to have a fruitful discussion, government is not willing to provide the answers requisited by the opposition party members, and that is why they are trying to disrupt this session of the parliament. At the same time also, when all these things are going on, there were issues also when opposition member of parliaments were trying to snatch some documents from the union minister, and these cases were going on. At the same time, the ruling MPs have or ruling party have suggested that the opposition parties were actually involved in attacking the security personnel of the parliament premises, and on the other hand, opposition member of parliaments have said that they were being threatened and manhandled by the security personnel. So these are the kind of situations or the things that are going on the basis of which the chairman have decided to suspend this particular MPs. Now, if we try to understand that what is the powers of presiding officer with regard to suspension of parliamentarians, like for example, the speaker in the case of Lok Sabha and the chairman in the case of Rajya Sabha. So the first situation is that if any member of parliament is involved in the legislative chamber in any kind of disorderly conduct or grossly disorderly conduct, the speaker or chairman can direct an MP to withdraw from the legislative chamber for the rest of the day. That is the first situation. Second situation is if they are continuously engaged in disrupting the proceedings of the parliament, then the presiding officer can also name an MP for persistently and willfully obstructing the business of the house. And if the presiding officer has named any particular MP for such, then it is then generally it is the role of the Union Parliamentary Affairs that he has to move a motion in the parliament for suspension of the said member of parliament for the entirety of the session. At the same time, with the growing disorderly conduct in the house or in the parliament, another article 374A in year 2001 was added to the Constitution of India, where it was says that if presiding officer deems necessary or seems fit, he can suspend the member of parliament for 5 state sessions if he has been involved in some kind of disorderly conduct in the house. And you are using this law or this article was used for the first time by Sumitra Mahajan in year 2015 when she suspended 25 member of parliaments in the for disorderly conduct in the house. Now we try to understand that what are the expectations? As India, we know that is a parliamentary democracy, it is a constitutional democracy. We have certain expectations from our parliamentarians to uphold while the proceedings of the parliament is going on. There is certain decorum that need to be maintained. So what are those expectations? So first of all, as per the rules of Lok Sabha or the book in the rule of Lok Sabha, they should not interrupt the speech of others while anyone else is speaking on the floor of the house. Parliamentarians should give them sufficient time to finish their sentences, to finish their speech, and then after that can question them or can protest against that. Second is, they should also not play any kind of cassette or tape record in the parliament to disrupt the houses or proceeding of the parliament. Second, members should not shout slogans, display placards or tear up documents in protest. And finally, they have to maintain silence and not obstruct the proceedings of the house. However, if you look at the history of parliament sessions in India, there has been numerous times when all these rules of parliamentary etiquette has been broken by several number of MPs all across the time. First of all, you try to understand a certain background regarding that or look at the history. In year 1969, when the then Prime President of India, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, was addressing the joint session of the parliament, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha combined, then almost 65 members of parliament walked out in protest. Similarly, in 1989, when a Thakur Commission was established or set up to examine or we can say investigate the assassination of the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So when the parliament was discussing the Thakur Commission report, a lot of parliamentarians, a lot of opposition party MPs were involved in disrupting the House of Parliament, and that is why almost 25 MPs were suspended that time by the then Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Similarly, in year 2010, when the Parliament or Lok Sabha especially was discussing the Women's Reservation Bill, some of the opposition party MPs were suspended because they were trying to snatch and tear up the copies of Women's Reservation Bill from the then Minister of Women and Child Affairs. So this has been several instances, and after that continuously we see the cases where the parliamentarians are engaged in hurling verbal attacks on each other, even hurling like paper spray. They have used paper sprays and they have tear up documents, important bills in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So these are the kind of situation that is going on, kind of situation that in which parliament have to function. So these certainly we can say the expectation, these are not the this conduct or this disorderly conduct certainly are not in line with whatever a constitution or whatever the public of our country or people of our country expect from the parliamentarians. Now the question comes that to discuss these issues or to tackle these problems, what more could be done? So if you look at our prominent political leaders who have suggested the way forward, so first of all it was the previous president or former president of India, we can say Dr. K.R. Narayanan. He has said that the reason behind such problems in parliament is because there is a sense of frustration among the opposition party MPs because they do not give or they do not have sufficient opportunities or they are lacking the opportunities to express their anger, to express their belief, to express their feelings regarding certain bills, acts or the decisions or the actions of the government. And that is why he said that to tackle this problem, all MPs should be given sufficient chance, should be given adequate opportunity to speak out their mind. However, at the same time, he has also suggested that this is the easiest way out. But if there are cases when there are a lot of time it was that the MPs were involved in disrupting the business of house, not for some genuine grievances or not from some genuine concern, but simply for the sake of disrupting the business of the house, for the sake of, we can say, not allowing the government to proceed with the certain bills and acts. So in that cases, K.R. Narayanan says that it is very difficult to address this issue unless both MPs from opposition parties as well as ruling parties come together and we can say address these issues in a joint way. In year 2001, in the Central Parliamentary Hall of the Parliament, when a joint meeting of all the parties were going on, that time the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee have also said and underlined this point that majority party should take other parties also into confidence while passing any act, passing any bill or promulgating any ordinance, because ours is a parliamentary democracy, and that is why opposition should also have a role. Opposition parties also have a duty, and that is why they should play a constructive role in the functioning of the parliament. And at the same time, they should put forward their views and express themselves in a dignified manner, because that is what the decorum parliament need to be. Next, if we talk about Sonia Gandhi, the now leader of opposition, she has said that reluctance and procrastination of the treasury bench is the ruling party you can talk about. So C has alleged that it is the reluctance and procrastination of the ruling party or treasury branches in discussing about certain bills, certain acts, as well as giving appropriate answers as required by the opposition member of parliament. And that is why C had sought the support of the presiding officers, both the Speaker of Lok Sabha as well as the Chairman of the Raj Sabha, in raising issues that are uncomfortable to the government or government may want to avoid, to not discuss such issues or not answer the questions as requisited by the opposition member of parliaments. If we are able to do this, then to some extent we can say the disorderly conduct and disruption of the houses can be controlled. At the same time, if you look at the Mamata Banerjee, the other political leader of India, who is the chairman or who is the head of the Trinamool Congress, Trinamool party. So C has said there is a need for cordial and respectful relationship between both the opposition parties and the ruling parties MPs, as India is a parliamentary democracy, is a constitutional democracy where elections keeps on happening at every regular interval, and that is why in our democracy power is transient. Today a particular party can be in power, 5 years, 10 years later there can be another party or opposition party can come into power. So that is why both have to be have a respectful and cordial relationship, so that the governance of country is not affected by the we can say parochial interest of the parliamentarians. So these are the some of the things that could be done or measures that could be taken to tackle the problems that is regarding the disruption of parliament. Now if we try to conclude, then we can say that ours is a representative democracy and parliamentary institutions have endured in India for 5 decades. That is, we got independence in 1947, India became republic in 1950, and since then the parliament session has been continuously, we can say going on, and that is why we can say the representative democracy and the parliamentary institution in India have endured for 5 decades, and this is a great tribute to their strength and resilience. So whatever lacunas we have, whatever weaknesses we have, whatever disruption is going on in parliament, despite that our institutions have been able to survive, and not only survive but also thrive. We have been able to pass so many historical bills, we have been able to pass so many historical and we can say historical as well as important bills for the sake of the nations. However, there are certain issues that is going in parliament on which we should pay our attention. So first of all, we are continuously seeing the decline of parliament and parliamentary authority. At the same time, we are also seeing the devolution of parliamentary authority. The standards of debate are continuously falling, we can see, because the parliament, due to continuous disruption, are not able to assemble and not able to discuss on the significant provisions of certain bills and acts, and that is why the standard debate has fallen down, because most of the time opposition party MPs or even sometimes ruling party MPs, they are not interested in discussing the provisions of the bill, but they are just interested in ending the sessions so that the bills can be pended. Then apart from that, we have deterioration in the conduct and quality of members that we are seeing continuously, as we have discussed before, that opposition party MPs as well as the other member of parliament, overall all the member of parliament are currently engaged in we can say alleging each other of doing some heinous work, or alleging each other on not taking into consideration the views of the opposition parties as well as ruling parties. So all these things are going on. Apart from that, the level of participation in the parliament is also being poorer. Most of the time the MPs are not coming to the house for discussing, they are absent. So absenteeism in the house, these are some of the current issues that are plaguing the parliamentary system of India. So overall, what we can say, that as India is a constitutional democracy and a constitution is a supreme, and constitution have envisioned a very important role for the parliament in the democratic country of India, and that is why the focus of both ruling parties as well as the opposition parties should be in parliamentary reforms, the political party reforms, electoral reforms and judicial reforms, and all these 4 together can be taken up in an integrated approach, so that the political and economic reforms of India can be done as part of the overall review of the working of our constitution. As our constitution, we know that it is a dynamic document, it is not a static document, it is an organic document, and the constitution has always have to be reviewed so that the we can be in line with the changing development or the changing demand of the nation. And that is why these reforms, especially the parliamentary reforms and the increasing the level of participation in the parliament as well as increasing the productivity of parliament is going to be a very important step in underlining the role that constitution has envisioned for the Parliament of India. So that is all for today. We'll come with another interesting topic very soon. Till then, take care. Thank you very much.